My dear friends, in last session we had a brief discussion regarding financial management, what it exactly means. Even though we started with meaning of time value of money, later on I thought why not to go to the background of finance management before having a detailed discussion of time value of money. In fact, time value of money is just one of the tool of financial management. We'll go to that later on. In between, I got several requests from my students and from different people. Sir, please give some more time to the basics of financial management so that our concept will become very clear. So what I have decided in this video to give some more elaboration to the basics of financial management. Now my friends, let me clarify. What is financial management? If this question you ask me, then in the last session I told you it is basically management of money. But in modern era, whether you have a profitable organization or non-profitable organization, practically you will mean that financial management is nothing but the ways of procurement of funds and application of funds. Now, most of you may know, but my objective of preparing this recording is to make the concept very clear to the laymen also, whether they are from general background, or whether they are from commerce background, or whether they are from engineering, medical background. Because even if you are an engineer, you are being charged with managing different projects, and in that case you need to have some knowledge on financial management to discharge your responsibility most effectively. So let make it aware, or let make it understandable to each and every fraternity of people, okay, so that they can use financial management in practice very easily. Now let me tell the management of procurement and application of funds. We can tell it in simple words: management of balance sheet of a company. In fact, let me clear it that if you have command, or if you have knowledge of balance sheet, then 80% of finance is over. Financial management is nothing but managing each and every element of a balance sheet of a company. Now you'll ask me, sir, what is balance sheet? Balance sheet means a balance sheet where we reflect sources and application of funds, and at any moment of time my total sources of fund must be equal to my total application of funds. Financial management is nothing but managing the different sources from which we procure our funds, and the way we apply those funds with an objective of optimization of return of the business. Now in the last class itself I told you optimization of return necessarily means minimizing the risk associated with the business and maximizing the profit or maximizing the return. In this context, I will tell you one thing: what is optimization and what is maximization? Maximization means compromising certain business policies, business rules, business ethics with a motto to improvise the profit for the benefit of the shareholders of the business. But when I say optimization of profit, it necessarily means looking into effect of the risk so that there will be a sustainable development of the business. Okay, my profit will be optimized, or my profit will be maximized, my risk will be minimized, and finally there will be sustainable development. That means I have a futuristic view on my business, or futuristic with futuristic objective I am carrying my business. So at any moment of time my sole objective should be optimization of return and not maximization of return. One thing that you remember. Now let me go to how to procure funds and how to apply funds so that I can have an effective financial management policy in my business. If you go to the balance sheet has two parts. One part may be in the left side or maybe in the upper part of the balance sheet. We reflect the different sources of funds. That means the different sources from where we get fund for our business. And the right side or the lower side of the balance sheet reflects the application of the funds. That means where we parked our funds. In this context, let me clarify one thing. Business entity concept plays a major role here. What is business entity concept? Business entity concept is business is a separate legal entity from its owners. If I start my business, if I think business and I are undividable, we are saying, then I may not have a proper financial management practice. Let me take it like this. My business is separate from me. I will give some money to my business to start my business, and whatever return the business will give, I will take my share. And that share I will utilize maybe for my personal consumption or maybe for my future requirement for the savings. So let me clarify from the very beginning. Whenever you think of financial management, you keep one thing in your mind. My business is separate from me. I am giving fund to business. Let the business run. And whatever profit the business will run, I will take my share subsequently, maybe annually. Or maybe I will withdraw some money on time to time basis, on periodic basis. But I will never consider business is mine. So I am non-separable from my business. Forget about this concept. So whenever I tell the sources of funds, there are several sources. One, sourcing from the owners of the business. In corporate form, we call them as the shareholders. And owning from the or procuring from the outsiders of the business. Outsiders may be any person who is a debt provider to the business, or maybe a banker, or maybe a financial institution. The part of profit which will be given to the shareholders or owners is known as dividend, and the charge that we must pay to the outside debt providers is known as the interest. Interest is an obligation. It has to be paid irrespective of whether your business run or not. You have to pay to the debt providers in the name of interest. But dividend will be paid to the equity shareholders provided you make some profit. You have to take dividend decisions. Okay? This is the profit the business has made during a particular financial year, and out of this we plan to distribute this much of dividend to the equity shareholders. You have to plan accordingly as per the requirement of the business or as per the future plans of the business. Again, I will categorize the sources into two types. One is long-term sources, second is short-term sources. Long-term sources to meet the long-term objective of the business. That means equity share capital is always a long-term source because the owners never provide the fund for a particular period. They provide fund for a long-term aspect, for a long-term period. They invest today and they expect return over a period of time which is more than 1 year. Similarly, term loan taken from the banks or financial institutions, or bonds or long-term financial instruments through which fund is raised for the business, they are normally long term. We have to pay the interest. We have to pay the, in fact, EMI, equal annual installment, equal monthly installments. And these are the long term sources. Short term sources are funds which are required for day-to-day running of the business. For example, for procuring the inventory, for payment of salary to my staffs, for payment of wages to the laborers, for day-to-day administrative expenses, meeting the day-to-day administrative expenses. Why short-term procurement is required? It is simply due to the fact that cash needs some time to be converted into cash. For example, let me clarify. Suppose I am a manufacturing entity. I will put some cash in my business. The cash will be utilized to purchase raw material. Then the raw material will be in process. It will take some time. Then the work in progress will be converted into finished goods. Then the finished goods will be converted into receivables, because I will sell on credit in order to improvise my business. I may not depend on cash only, cash sales only. And then receivables will be realized into cash. So in order to convert cash into cash, I may require maybe 15 days time, 30 days time, or 35 days time. But during those 15 days, 30 or 35 days of time, I have to run my business. I have to pay electricity bills. I have to pay salary to my staffs. I have to pay suppliers if they require emergency fund. So all these expenditures I have to meet, even though it requires some time to convert my cash into cash. So I may go to my banker and say, sir, I am a manufacturing unit. Okay, I have invested this much of money in my business. My working capital cycle or my period for converting cash into cash is say 30 days or 40 days. So you provide me some working capital so that I can run my business smoothly. In fact, remember one thing, this working capital, what we call as small term capital or liquid capital requirement of a business, are living blood for the business. If you do not have sufficient working capital in your business, then practically it will be difficult in future to run smoothly, because suppliers may withhold supply of goods, laborers may go on strike because they are being non-paid, so your business may hamper. So you should have some fund on hand to meet these short-term obligations. This is known as working capital. Remember one thing, all long-term procurements should be used for long-term application, and all short-term procurements should be used for short-term applications. Do not mix, do not use long-term procurement for short-term applications or short-term procurement for long-term applications, because short-term procurements need to be paid within a short-term period of time, maybe 15 days, 20 days or 30 days, whatever it may be. So if you invest it for long-term period, you will get the return maybe after 1 year. Then the short-term providers will come to you and they will ask, sir, make us payment, make us payment. And you may not be in a position to make them payment and your business may collapse. You may face trouble in running your business smoothly. So if you procure by means of issue of share, use it in long-term investment purposes. If you issue debentures, use it for long-term investment purposes. If you take working capital loan from your bank or cash credit or overdraft, we will discuss in detail whenever we will go to working capital management in a separate video. Use it for procurement of inventories, not for procurement of fixed assets. Remember it. Very, very important. If you mix these things, then your financial management practice will be a complete failure. You remember it from the very beginning. Now let us go to the applications. Again, applications may be categorized into long-term applications and short-term applications. Suppose you are erecting a manufacturing unit, the long-term application, procurement of land, erection of building, plant, machinery, furniture, fixtures, all these things. These are long-term applications because we are investing today, but we are expecting return over a period of time, maybe more than 1 year. Similarly, short-term applications, investment in inventories or payment of some advance to the wage laborers or your employees. This is short term application. Now you remember one thing in your mind: all long term sources should be utilized for long term applications, procurement of or purchasing land, erection of building, plant, machinery, furniture, fixtures, all these things. And whenever you have cash credit or overdraft facility or short-term procurement, you use it for the purpose of what? Procurement of inventories or payment of advance to suppliers, all these things. Okay? You should not mix. Now, there is another source. This source from the business itself. Let me clarify it through an example. Suppose you want to start your own business. What you will do? Obviously, you will need to invest some capital in your business. This is your own contribution. It is known as proprietor's contribution to the business or shareholders' contribution to the business. We call it as equity contribution. Then it may not be sufficient to start the business. You will go to a banker to get some loan. Suppose your contribution is 1 crore and you get a loan from your banker 1 crore. So total long-term procurement of funds for your business is 2 crores. Now you erected plant, machinery, whatever required for the business. Suppose the total cost of development of infrastructure and erection of plant and machinery is 1 crore 60 lakhs. So before starting up the business, how my balance sheet will look? My balance sheet top will reflect procurement of funds. Under that, equity share capital maybe 1 crore, loan and borrowing 1 crore. So total procurement 2 crores. Now at the bottom I will show application of funds, fixed asset, or we call it as non-current assets, maybe investment in land and building, say 1 crore, investment in plant and machinery 60 lakhs. So I have cash available with me 40 lakhs. So total procurement 2 crores, total application 1 crore 60 lakhs, and cash available with the business is 40 lakhs. Balance sheet tallied. At any moment of time, balance sheet must be tallied. Now I used this 40 lakhs to, I used a part of this 40 lakhs to purchase some raw material, maybe 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs. Now how will it affect my balance sheet? Remember, you just think whenever you carry on any transaction, you just think of how it is going to affect my balance sheet. Through that, you can pass the financial entries also, accounting entries also. Now, how it will affect my business? Obviously, in current assets, earlier it was cash 40 lakhs. Now it will be changed to cash 20 lakhs, inventory or raw materials 20 lakhs. So my new balance sheet will be equity 1 crore, debt, long-term debt 1 crore, fixed asset 1 crore 60 lakhs, cash 20 lakhs, inventory 20 lakhs, total is 2 crores. Now suppose I run the business for a particular period of time, say 3 months, 6 months or 1 year. Now this raw material will be converted into work in progress. Then the work in progress will be converted into finished goods. Then the finished goods will be converted into receivables. Then the receivables will bring cash to the business. Then again the cash will be converted into raw material and the process will continue. In between I have to pay to my employees, laborers, my electricity bill, my rentals if any, and I have to pay for promoting expenses, advertisement expenses, whatever expenses. Expenses can be categorized into direct expenses and indirect expenses. So direct expenses are those which are directly attributed to the production of the business. Indirect expenses are those which are not directly associated to the production, but they help in production of the business, production of the product. Now, direct expenses include purchase of raw materials, payment to the laborers or wages, whatever it may be. Indirect expenses, salary to my accountant, salary to my administrative staff, my maybe official electricity expenses, printing and stationery expenses, all these are indirect expenses. Suppose during the period my total sales is 40 lakhs, my purchases are around 20 lakhs, my other direct and indirect expenses is 15 lakhs, so my profit is 5 lakhs. Now this is again a source. This 5 lakh is also a source. What I want to bring to your focus. From this 5 lakh I may decide to pay to the equity shareholders, assuming that expenses include interest paid to the bankers. So after payment of interest, my residual profit is 5 lakhs. From this 5 lakhs, I will decide how much dividend I will pay to the equity shareholders and how much I will keep in my business for future use. Suppose I pay a dividend of 1 lakh and balance 4 lakhs I keep in my business. This is known as surplus, or what we call as reserve surplus or retained earning of the business. We call it as retained earning of the business. Remember my friends, retained earning is also a source and it comes under long-term source basically, practically. Because we have paid the dividend, so we do not have any short-term obligations to pay to the equity shareholders. So normally it is a long-term source. So in source section we have capital contributed by the owners, 1. Contribution by the business itself, known as retained earnings or reserve and surplus. Procurement from the outsiders like bankers, financial institutions, or bond holders or debenture holders. These are all long-term sources. Applications, as I told you, investment in building, investment in land, investment in plant and machineries. All these are long-term applications. Short-term sources may be cash credit from the bank, short-term funding from any bank or financial institutions or any outsider. And short-term applications are investment in inventories, receivables, cash, bank held with the business or held with the banker. These are all short-term applications. At any moment of time, my total procurement should be equal to my total applications. Now, what is the role of financial management whenever we are discussing all these sources and applications of the funds for a business? Let me simplify it. See, when I say business made a profit of 4 lakhs annually or 5 lakhs annually upon an investment of say 50 lakhs or 1 crore or 2 crore, whatever it may be, then I necessarily means I get a return of, suppose my investment is 2 crores and I get a profit of say 20 lakhs annually, so my return is 10%. Suppose it is before payment of interest, I am getting a return of 10%. Suppose my interest obligation or debt return is 12%. Can I successfully carry on my business? No. At any moment of time, I will face problem. Because my cost of funding is more than 10%, but my return is 10%. So business is in problem. So whenever I decide to start a business, to invest in land, building, plant and machineries, first of all, I will make a projection from my part. Okay, what is my total investment? Second step, I will try to find out my cost of funding. Cost of funding means weighted average cost of funding. That is what is the weighted average cost of procuring the equity share capital and debt. Suppose it is 15%. Step 3, genuinely find out what is the expected return from the business. If the expected return from the business is more than 15%, then the project is viable. If it is less than 15%, then the project is not viable. Do not enter into that business from the very beginning. You can calculate all these things in absolute form also. Whatever I have discussed, it is in relative term, that is in percentage form. In absolute term, you can find out what is my interest obligation, how much I have to pay to the equity shareholders annually, and whether I am getting sufficient return or profit before interest and tax to make these payments. If it is okay, then carry on the business. If it is not that much, then I have to avoid the business. Otherwise, I have to face problems in future. Don't be emotional to the business. Think it from future earning point of view, whether you can carry it on successfully or not. This is financial management. 1, to decide what are the different investment opportunities available. Second, to find out the most attractive business opportunities available in the market. Step 3, to find out the funding opportunities so that my cost of procurement will be minimum. Next, working capital management, from where to procure materials and all those supplies for the business, to make a logistic management, thinking of the logistic management most profitably for the business, making profit planning, dividend decisions, and if you have surplus fund, then where to invest those surplus fund so that business can get maximum return with minimum risk, that we call as portfolio management or non-trade investment decisions. Investments which are not related to the business, which are outside the ambit or outside the scope of the business, to decide all these things. This is the overall financial management. And when we read financial management, the whole topic is nothing but this only. That means you will read about cost of capital, capital structure decisions, dividend decisions, liability side of the balance sheet or procurement side of the balance sheet, I am telling. You will read about working capital management, how to manage inventory, how to manage receivables, how to manage surplus cash available with the business, how to manage the creditors or suppliers, where to invest capital investment decisions so that return will be optimized, as I already told you. And if business has surplus cash, then where to invest those money, whether in equity share capital or whether it in bond funds or whether in fixed deposit with bankers. Okay, all these decisions we have to take, and this is nothing but financial management. And when we enter into import and export business, then also in financial management we have international financial management, where we have to discuss about currency management and risk associated with currency management. So while making video on financial management, what I will cover, after basics of financial management, I will go to objectives of financial management in my next session. Then we'll go to financial statement analysis, whether that means measuring the performance of my business, whether it is performing well or not. What is financial management? What are the different financial performance of the business, whether business is running properly or not. Then we'll go to capital investment decisions, cost of capital and capital structure decisions. Then we'll go to dividend decisions. Then we'll go to working capital management. Then we'll go to risk management, portfolio management, international financial management, and obviously derivatives. risk management tools for a business. We'll go to it subsequently, but this is for today. Stay home, stay safe, always have mask. Let us live with COVID-19. COVID-19 कहीं जाने वाला नहीं है, ये आ गया मतलब ये रहेगा, जैसे डेंगू है, जैसे दूसरे वायरसेस है, ये वैसे ही रहेगा. लेट्स ट्राई टू लिव विथ दैट, with mask, with sanitizer. Okay, let us maintain social distance and let plan for our business in future so that we can optimize our return. Stay blessed. Swapnam Gata Das, CA, Chartered Accountant by profession. We'll meet you very soon. Thank you.